It's all.
You are saying
14 people.
and then press rename. Mama, I'm showing you something.
9, 10, 11, 12.
No. Now I can.
21.
3.
23. Easy.
会没了。
Still muted. Since my meeting is gonna be in yours, so yeah, I'm not gonna let you in that. I know.
24 people.
There are multiple people.
Hi, people.
Yeah. This look nice.
Sulupang hai.
Just that.
28. Green.
Who's on?
Guys,
28.
You think I should send this to Cameron? You think I should send this to Cameron?
7. I didn't know. Yeah, sure. Put down, Sarah.
Cameron.
28.
Okay.
Unless you want to say something.
Hello.
Say hi, everyone.
my ex was
So I did not know you had cats.
Send.
Everybody's.
Check up.
Roll downstairs. My cats are all gone from me.
My name is What? That would be you know, like it shows you, but also doesn't show you the cat then.
Hi.
They are. What do you say? Not
3 people.
every single student, just people that wanted to show up. Alright, I'm just gonna keep
Okay, guys, I have muted you. Can you all hear me? Thumbs up, you can hear me? Okay, good deal. How is everybody today? Some of you look a little tired.
I'm not on me.
Are you guys a little tired today? Yeah, a little? I see some yawning. Okay. So I think most of us are here. So I'll just go ahead and dive right in because I'm getting the sense that you guys are excited to finish this one. Am I right about that? Yeah? Okay. So why don't I go ahead and start reading right off the bat and we'll see. It's possible we could finish this book today. Okay? So here goes. Chapter 20. As Carter turned, he found himself cornered by Bosso, the walrus, and the spider lady. Oh, I just remembered. We left off on a big cliffhanger. Carter has the diamond and he is running away from Bosso, and he has gone around several corners trying to find an exit. and he's found himself inside a closet with nowhere else to turn. He finds himself cornered by Basso, the walrus, and the spider lady. "You're done, boy," Basso said. "Give me the diamond." Carter looked desperately around the room. There were shelves of old props, a table with an antique gramophone, musty curtains, and giant mirrors. He grabbed a baseball bat from a nearby shelf, accidentally turning the gramophone on. I better tell you what a gramophone is. Does anyone know what a gramophone is? Leo, do you know what a gramophone is?
No, I'm just asking you a question.
Sure, go for it.
Why does Carter have the diamond? Did he steal it?
Remember yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
He played a trick on Basso and he stole it. Yeah. Anybody know what a gramophone is? Nora.
So,
Ava's got one. Look at Ava's screen, everybody. She's showing us a picture of one right now.
yeah, you just put on the needle and then it records stuff.
Yes, it's the very first record player. Now, most of you don't even have a record player anymore, but it used to look like that. You've probably seen them. If you're looking at Ava's screen, I'm trying to figure out if I don't know how to make sure you're looking at Ava's screen. But she's showing you a gramophone right now. And it is the very first type of recorded sound was played on a gramophone about 100 years ago. Thank you, Ava, for having one right there to show us. So Carter grabbed a baseball bat from a nearby shelf, accidentally turning the gramophone on. Instead of playing, the needle rubbed against the record as it spun, making a terrible scratching sound. Carter swung the bat as Basso reached for him. "Leave me alone!" "Give me the diamond you stole," Basso growled. "You stole it first," Carter snapped, "and now I'm gonna steal it back." As Basso lunged at Carter, Carter swung again. Basso backed off, but a sinister grin crawled across his face. "You're trapped, boy. Give it up, and I might let you live." "Like Mr. Vernon," Carter said, "you framed him." "The old fool had it coming," Basso spit. "Well, I've got news for him. Once the diamond is mine, I'll have everything I've ever wanted right at my fingertips. And Dante, goody boy Dante, will be left to rot in prison. Until everyone realizes you replaced the Star of Africa with a fake during your set," Carter said, swinging the bat as the walrus and the spider lady reached for him. "By then I'll be long gone. I'll be in Bora Bora, sipping frosty umbrella drinks and working on my tan," Basso said. "You're horrible, you know that? First you set up your carnival games so no one can win. Then your pocketpickets robbed the people who came to your show. You paid off the sheriff so he'd look the other way. And now you've stolen the Star of Africa by switching it with a fake. You ruin people's lives. Admit it," Carter demanded. "I admit all of it. It's not my fault that the world's too stupid to realize when it's being suckered. I only show up where I know I can take advantage." Basso's wild smirk grew on his face. "I'm an entertainer. People adore me. Will that ever make me rich enough? Hardly. But that diamond sure will. So yeah, I took it. What are you gonna do about it, kid?" "Only everything," Carter smiled, dropping the bat on the floor. "Thank you, Mr. Basso. That's all we needed to hear." "We?" Basso whispered. Carter pulled a rope hidden in a far corner. The four walls and ceiling of the fake prop room fell away. Carter, Basso, the walrus, and the spider lady were left standing on the center of the stage. The entire audience, cops and all, had heard everything Basso had just confessed. How? Basso screamed. You were chasing me backstage through curtain after curtain, Carter said. I led you in one big circle, straight into a trap. And just in case anyone missed your confession, Carter moved the needle back on the gramophone record and switched it from record to play. I admit all of it. It's not my fault that the world's too stupid to realize when it's being suckered. Basso's recorded voice played back for the audience. Ridley had been holding up a sign for the audience that said, silence. She tossed it on the floor and wheeled backstage with the others. Then Ridley, Ollie, Izzy, Lila, and Theo pushed a line of hotel room service carts, one tied to the next, onto the stage. They removed the silver tray lids one after the other. Each cart was heaped with the stolen goods from Basso's bathtub: wallets, rings, bracelets, watches, wedding bands, and more. Police, townspeople, visitors, Carter shouted. Basso tried to steal the Star of Africa, but he was also working with the sheriff and a dangerous band of pickpockets. If you lost something in the last few days, it's probably here. He stole my wedding ring, someone in the audience shouted. He stole my wallet. Oops, sorry, Miles. He stole my earrings and bracelet. I spent my whole allowance on his dumb games. The entire audience began booing him. 2 police officers took the sheriff into custody, while the rest rushed the stage and surrounded Basso and his goons. Theo asked, "Would you like to take a final bow?" Lila ran off the stage and over to Mr. Vernon. She hugged her dad and said, "We did it!" "Yes, you did," Mr. Vernon said, rubbing at his bruised skull. "I never had a doubt in my mind." "Here, let me take those handcuffs off," the policeman said. "No need. I've been getting out of handcuffs since I could walk." Mr. Vernon made a peculiar motion with his hands, and the cuffs fell right off. He gave them to the police officer. Voila! Brilliant, Carter whispered. Chapter 21. From the top of the stationary train car in the train yard, Carter could see the Grand Oak Resort, the quiet town of Mineral Wells, and the tents of Basso's Carnival, which was silent and still in the morning light. After everything that had happened in the last few days, Carter wondered if he was beginning to believe in magic. Not the kind where you can actually make things disappear or cast a spell, but the kind where you can't sleep because you're so full of joy that you stay awake and watch the sun come up. Carter was certain that he had never seen such beautiful colors in the sky before. Sitting cross-legged on top of B.B. Basso's loot car, Carter watched below as the police cracked open the locks. When they finally got the metal train car door open, a mountain of wallets and watches and rings and more poured out. Later, the police would find that there had been a rash of thefts in every town B.B. Basso's Carnival had ever been to. Carter and the Misfits had solved hundreds, if not thousands, of unsolved petty theft crimes. While the police collected and boxed the goods, trying to figure out how to return everything to their proper owners, Carter continued to marvel at the sky's streaks of yellow, orange, and red, all tied together like the multicolored silk handkerchiefs that his father had used in a magic trick long ago. As the brilliant sun crowned the horizon, it sent a fan of rays toward him, surrounding him with warmth. A few tracks away, a freight train chugged off into the distance, fleeing from the rising light. Carter wondered what he would do next. He couldn't stay at Theo's house for long. Mr. and Mrs. Steinmeier would only start asking questions. Should I hop a train, he wondered, just to see where it takes me next? Well, you weren't going to leave without saying goodbye, were you? Mr. Vernon asked. Ah, Carter screamed, startled to find he was no longer alone. The magician sat next to him as if he had been there the whole time. How did you do that? Carter asked. Very quietly, Mr. Vernon smiled. Well, were you going to leave town? I don't want to, Carter said, but the police are already asking about my parents. I can't go into foster care. Who knows where I'd end up? A wise man once said that decisions are best made in the morning after a good night's sleep, a shower, and a well-rounded breakfast. At this point, you've missed the sleep part, but the other Mr. Vernon is making breakfast back at our house, and there are a few people there who'd like to see you before you make a decision. Breakfast does sound good, Carter said, feeling his cheeks burn. Good. Come along, Mr. Vernon said, as he climbed down the train car ladder. When he walked into Mr. Vernon's dining room in the apartment above the magic shop, Carter was surprised to see the entire gang there. Theo, Ridley, Lila, Ollie, and Izzy were all helping to set the table. Carter, they screamed, running over to hug him. We did it. We really did it, Lila said. We took down Basso and his circle of stooges. Not all of them, Theo said. The police arrested Basso, the sideshowers, and the pockpickets, but they never found the frown clowns. That's a worry for another day, the other Mr. Vernon said, walking into the room with a platter stacked high with pancakes and strawberries. For now, it's time to eat. Perhaps after presents, Mr. Vernon suggested. He presented 4 boxes and placed them before Carter, Theo, Lila, and Ridley. I'm sorry, Ollie and Izzy, but I didn't know we'd be having 2 more join us. No worries, Ollie said, stuffing his mouth. These pancakes are treat enough. When the 4 misfits opened their packages, they found what they had thought was lost. Lila's lucky lockpicks, Ridley's journal, Theo's bow, and Carter's wooden box. Carter held the small carved box to his chest, tracing his fingers over the initials LWL. But how? Carter asked. A good magician never tells, Mr. Vernon said. But Carter's quick mind began to sort through the details of the last few days. When he first met Mr. Vernon, he'd given Carter the book about the vanishing object on the podium trick. Mr. Vernon was old friends with B.B. Bobby Basso. He must have known that Basso would try to steal the diamond. And how? He also must have pickpocketed the pockpickets along the way and retrieved the misfits' things. We were never on our own, were we? Carter concluded. You were looking after us from the beginning, making sure we were never in any real danger. The coins in my pocket? The blanket in the park? Lila squinted. What coins? What blanket? I have no idea what he's talking about, Mr. Vernon smiled, helping himself to a pancake. What will you do now, Carter? Theo asked. Carter shrugged. After everything they'd been through together, after everything they'd done for him, how could he tell his friends what he'd been planning only an hour earlier? The thought made him feel empty inside. He didn't want to leave Mineral Wells or his new friends, but what other option did he have? The others must have been able to read it all in Carter's face. You can't leave, Lila blurted out. You have to stay. Theo patted Carter on the back, and even Ridley seemed to frown. Actually, I may have one more trick up my sleeve, Mr. Vernon said. He waved to the kids to follow him out of the apartment and into the connecting magic shop. Theo, always a gentleman, held the door open for everyone. Woof, woof! I'm a rabbit, squawked Presto. Silly bird, Lila laughed. Mr. Vernon led the kids and the other Mr. Vernon into the secret room and over to the wall covered in photos. On it were dozens of black and white images of different magicians. But near the bottom, there was one that stood out. It was a sepia-toned photo of 6 kids, their arms around one another. Who are they? Lila asked, studying the photo. The emerald ring, said Mr. Vernon. There's me as a boy, about your age, and that's Bosso. Back then he went by the name Bobby Boskowitz. You knew each other? Ridley asked. We did. In fact, we were the best of friends, Mr. Vernon said. Bosso, myself, and the rest of our friends were all misfits, just like you lot. But that's not what I wanted to show you. I wanted to draw Carter's attention to Lyle. He pointed to one of the boys in the photograph. He looks kind of like Carter, Lila said. Lyle was my dad's name, Carter whispered, confused. Just as I suspected, Mr. Vernon said, as tears formed in his eyes. From the first time I saw you, I wondered, but I decided it was impossible, that my old mind was just playing tricks on me. Then this evening, when I pickpocketed the pop pickets, I found your box with the initials LWL. By chance, do they stand for Lyle Wilder Locke? Carter nodded, stunned. You knew my dad? I did, and very well, too, Mr. Vernon said. Lyle was my cousin. Something welled up inside Carter, forming a baseball-sized lump in his throat. Other than Uncle Sly, he didn't think he had any other family. Your cousin? When Lyle met your mother, they moved to the West Coast to be closer to her family, Mr. Vernon explained. After your parents, you know, I knew that you ended up living with another relative, but no one seemed to know who or where. For years, I looked for you. I never gave up, but I never imagined that fate would bring you to Mineral Wells. Not fate, Lila said, magic. Magic, fate, or coincidence, Carter wasn't sure which was which anymore. He remembered hopping onto the yellow train car several days earlier like it was the right thing to do. Then again, all the tracks were leading in the same direction. Magic, fate, coincidence. Maybe at a certain point, thought Carter, all of these ideas start to blur together. Carter, would you like to come live with us? Mr. Vernon asked. Carter didn't have any words, so he just nodded yes. Much later, the 4 friends gathered in the secret room hidden inside the magic shop. After they had gotten their faces in the local paper for saving the day, they decided they should keep practicing magic and see what they could really do. Should we have a name for our organization? Theo asked. What about the Emerald Ring? Said Lila. Just like my dad's group from when he was a kid. Nah, that'll only make me think of Bosso and his goons, Riley added. Thanks, but no thanks. How about the Ollie and Izzy gang? Ollie said. Or the Izzy and Ollie gang, Izzy said. Where did you 2 even come from? Ridley asked, annoyed. You're not the only ones who know tricks, the twins said together. Ollie added, and we're happy to join. We have our own performance to perfect, but we don't mind showing up from time to time as guest stars, Izzy finished. So, yep, count us in too. This is awkward, Ridley said, nodding toward the twins. But we are forming a gang of magicians. Yeah, awesome, cried Ollie. Does this mean we get special outfits? Asked Izzy. Ridley shook her head. No. You don't understand. You can't be in it. Neither of you know illusion work. That's not true, said Ollie. He grabbed Izzy's hand and tried to pull off her thumb. Ouch, Izzy cried, smacking her brother. I think magic is about more than stagecraft, Carter said. It's about happiness. It's about laughter. It's about that feeling you get inside. I think Ollie and Izzy do that. Well put, Theo said, patting Carter on the back. I agree, Lila said. Fine, Ridley said, giving in. But in the future, new members will be subjected to a rigorous nomination process. So, what are we going to call ourselves? Lila asked. How about the Magical Greats? Suggested Ridley. The Magic Diamonds? Tried Carter. We need something unique, just like us, said Theo. Then Carter said, seems like everyone's been calling us misfits. Basso, the Pock Pickets. I like the idea of using the bad guys as label for us, said Ridley. That's powerful. Misfits, Lila repeated, trying out the word. Nice. Agreed, Ollie and Izzy said. Theo gave a thumbs up. The Magic Misfits, Carter said. He loved it. It was almost as if the fact that he had never fit in was what made him belong right here at this table. Well, now that we have our name, what should we do first? Teach ourselves more magic, of course, Lila said. Carter had learned how to do magic tricks from his uncle, but those were just that, tricks. There was no magic involved. From his new family and friends, Carter was learning that real magic did exist. You just had to know where to look. Okay, so that is the end of the book. Yay! But there's a little more because the author has given us a magic trick called How to Read Another Person's Mind. No, don't go yet. The book isn't over. I have one more trick to show you before you leave. Also, have I mentioned that this is only the first book in the series? There are 3 more tales to go, each one bigger and grander than the previous. And in each, you'll learn even more magic. Dare I say, by the end of this series, if you have practiced, you'll be a true magician. I'm rambling, aren't I? Where was I? Oh yes, another magic trick. In the Magic Misfits' next adventure, they shall encounter a dangerous villain who claims to have psychic powers. Now, I'm not going to declare that there are, or are not, people who can actually read your mind. But I can tell you that with a little know-how, you too can learn how to read someone else's mind. Yes, you read that right. Here's how to know the number that someone is thinking. You can do this with anyone and with any number. All you need are these instructions and a little math. You may even use this to boggle your math teacher. Though he or she may say, I told you math was useful. Okay, before I tell you how to do it, Miles has his hand up. Miles, did you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. What you will need are a pencil and paper, unless you're really good at math. You could also use a calculator. Step 1, ask someone to think of a number, any number. Make sure they write it down and put it in their pocket. You can also do this trick over the phone. That's handy. Number 2, now tell that friend to subtract 1 from that number, then have them multiply that number by 2, then have your friend add their original number to that new number, then have him, you know what, this is going to be easier if we just do it, okay? Raise your hand if you'd like to volunteer. Okay. I'm trying to unmute Owen Jershely. I'm going to do the trick for you, and you're going to think of the number, okay? Do you have a number that you've thought of? Okay, or do you have, I suppose you don't have anything there to write it down with?
No.
Okay, I'm just gonna have to trust you, okay, that you're not gonna change your number. You're thinking of your number?
Yes.
All right. Now subtract 1 from your number.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Now take that answer you got when you subtracted by 1 from 1 and multiply it by 2.
Okay.
Then take that answer and add it to your original number.
Okay.
And what is that new number?
13.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you.
13.
13?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Okay, now I have to read a little bit. Your original number was 5.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, cool. I got it. Okay. So for everyone, here's again how you do it. You ask your friend to write down a number. Okay? Here, I tell you what. Well, no, that won't work. Then you have them multiply the number by 2. Then you have them add that answer to their original number. And then they tell you what they got. Now, the secret part that I did was I took the number he gave me, 13, I added 2, and then I divided by 3. And that's how I knew that his answer was 5. Okay, so I didn't really read his mind. I just did a lot of math. Okay, how about if you would like, I will copy this and share it with you so that you can test this trick out with your family and friends, okay? All right, when the Misfits return, they'll be bringing more magic with them, so be ready. Okay, that is it. We finished the book. So I will now take some questions. Sama, hi.
One time when me,
Oh, you know what? I've got my speaker turned off. That's why I couldn't hear you, Owen. Okay, Sama, start again, please.
okay, so I had one time when I was one time when me and my mom were playing reading our mind. I actually read her mind.
Wow, that's amazing. Then you won't have any trouble with this trick at all, will you? Adam.
That sad news about who was it?
Are you talking about yesterday about Mr. Lingo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that. Yeah, we're gonna miss him a lot. Thanks, Adam. Ava.
Can we do this too when we're in school? Like read your mind?
This magic trick? Sure. Absolutely. I'll look forward to it. We better practice so we get really good at it by then. Nora.
If anybody's going to do the magic trick, I don't think you should look at the book, because then you know that we're going to read your mind.
Yeah, I think you're gonna want to try to remember the steps without having to look at the book, because looking at the book will definitely give them a clue that you're not just psychic. Yeah, good point. Svea, did you have a question? Mm-hmm. Oh, thought I saw your hand up. Okay, Eleanor, do you have a question?
No.
Oh, okay. Danny.
Can we read the next book?
I will start the next book on Monday. So you'll have that to look forward to. Andres is showing us something. Are you asking if I can read more Magic Misfits, Danny?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. Andres, do you have the next one there?
Yes, this is it.
Have you read it already?
I'm in the middle of it.
Ah, okay. And Owen's giving it a thumbs up. Owen, you've read them too?
Mhm.
You liked them?
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Any other questions? Oh, Sam. You know what, Sam? It's hard for me to tell that you're raising your hand when you're upside down.
Oh, right. I forgot it was upside down.
I almost missed you. What did you want to say, Sam?
Doing that would be good to work on math. The magic?
Yes, that would be good for that mental math practice. That's why I think I'm going to post it for you in the Google Classroom so that you
Oh,
can,
you're gonna make that a material?
yeah, I'll make it a material in the Google Classroom.
The Google Classroom's mind.
Henry, wait, Henry, hold on. Henry, clicking, there we go.
Can you read Benicula?
Oh, I would love to. I don't know that I have a copy at my house, but I can, you guys have one? I can probably get one from school. So let me give that some thought, okay? I hadn't totally decided yet about the next one, so I will definitely put it on the list to consider. Miles.
What's molecular?
Bunicula. It is a vampire rabbit.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Wait.
You heard that right. There's a reason Henry's recommending it because it's pretty good. Third graders, have I ever read it to you? No? Addie says no. Okay, so then yeah, that would be a great choice. All right. Well, I put some new things up on Google Classroom already today. I put up the link to Tumble Books. Raise your hand if you've looked at it. Tumble Books. Sam has looked at it. Ada has looked at it. Uh-oh. Ada turned into Miles in the weirdest way.
What?
I went to click on you, Ada, and turned into Miles. What did you think
Sort
of it?
of looked at it like my mom went to like the ebooks or something because I'm reading on my mom's old Kindle, which is sometimes reacts like a little bit of an old grandma. So because it's like 10 years.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah.
So you took a look at it, but you didn't get very far. Okay. That's just fine. I just gave it to you this morning, so that makes sense. I also posted another yoga. It's called Cabin Fever Yoga with Mrs. Rogers. So if anybody, I know it's kind of cold out today, so if anybody's feeling cooped up, go back to Google Classroom and do the Cabin Fever Yoga. Yes, Eleanor?
I did the cabin fever yoga.
Oh, you did. I'm so glad. That's awesome. I'm going to try to do it after Read Aloud. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm already very cooped up.
Are you?
I'm cooped up too.
I'm going to be sharing with you a video from Mrs. Carrillo about masks that I would like all of you to watch. You may have seen it already, but I'm going to put it up there.
Which one?
Alina.
Oh, I was looking at my Google Calendar, and I was wondering how come it shows you like on your calendar, how come it shows you like every single lesson and not just the assigned ones? I mean, not just the ones that you have to do that turn up sometimes.
If you're looking at the stream, it's going to show you everything. If you click on your work, then it will only show you the assignments that you have.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm posting materials that are just there for you to take advantage of if you want to, that are not assignments. So then you're going to see all of those too in the stream. Okay? Does that answer your question? Yeah? Okay. Okay, guys. I think that's it for us today. Good to see you. I hope you all have a nice weekend. For those of you that will be celebrating Easter this weekend.
Oh yeah.
I will
Yeah,
definitely.
not everybody celebrates Easter, but if you do, I hope you enjoy it. And I will unmute you so that you can chat a little bit.
It's for two.
Yeah.
Everybody. I have a feeling that even my dog is saying stop. Bye.
Bye, everyone. You next week. You next week. Bye. Between there. Bye. Bye, Faith.
Wait, Zade's there? Stop.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Wait, Zade's here?
Kevin.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Everybody. Wait, not till everybody's gone.
Dad.
Kevin.
Running away now.
Kevin.
Stop. You're only sending it.
Kevin is here. Hi.
Like, David typed a lot of things to me today. So Gavin, he could probably use a little lesson in how the chat works.
Yeah. You're sending it just to her?
That'd be like a whole book.
Why don't you not chat and listen to the book? Because that's probably giving her a headache.
It's fine. I just can't really help him with it from this end.
It's for two.
Walked over here and he was like typing as fast as
What
he
is
could.
that on the top thing? It says REC. What does that mean?
It's recording.
Okay.
Yeah, because I recorded and then I put it up on YouTube so you can watch it later.
Ooh, so
If you missed anything. Okay, guys, I'm going to close it down. Bye.
Best one. The best